Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater, and I am coming to you from an incredibly historic location in Hollywood. We're at EastWest Studios with Assistant Manager Keith Munson. It's great to see you.
Yes, great to see you as well.
Thanks for letting us drop in here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Tour. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the building. I'm a little more than a little emotionally attached to it. And
Yeah.
I just like having people in my house.
It is just, well, going back through all of the iterations and the current, of course, iteration as EastWest. Tell us a little bit about the more than 60 years of history, right?
So the building's close to 100 years old now. It was originally built as a grocery store. It was one of the first supermarkets in LA where you could get meat, dairy, and produce and everything under one roof.
Right.
And it was called Cash is King. Then in the 40s, it became a casino / brothel during the war. And it was started as Madame Zuka's, changed names a few times to hide the questionable legality of the operation. Then it became a radio broadcast studio in the 50s. And Bill Putnam bought the building in I think around 58 and started renovating it and opened it as Western Recorders in 1961. And it's operated as the studios themselves has remained unchanged since then.
Right.
So everything out here that you see is overhauled about 15 years ago and redesigned by Philippe Stark.
Right.
When Doug Rogers bought it and became EastWest Studios. It operated as Western until about mid-80s, 85-ish, when Alan Sides took it over and renamed it Ocean Way. And so he had the building next door, which is United, and he named Ocean Way as well. So if it was done in Ocean Way Studio A, it was that building. If it was Ocean Way Studio 1, it was this building.
Okay.
Then Rick Adams bought it and it became Cello in 98, operated as Cello until about 2005. And when that closed, some sad times, the building needed some love. It was kind of in a little disrepair. And Doug Rogers thankfully came in and saved the building from becoming a baby Gap or luxury high-rise condos, or basically just being torn down.
Right.
So he overhauled the building, and all of the non-acoustic spaces that we see here, gutted the second floor, just went straight up to the beautiful ceiling, and left the studios intact as they were because they're magical rooms.
Right.
Why fix it if it's not broken? And
Right.
they just sound amazing. So overhauled all of this to make sure people felt welcome and felt, kind of get that hotel vibe where they want to come in and they want to stay for a minute.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the public spaces are just gorgeous. And Philippe Stark, of course, is an amazing designer, and, the things that he does are phenomenal. But it really does have a vibe where you can just kick back and relax and be creative and be inspired.
And the beautiful thing about this whole design was it's very much a water cooler as well. I can have all 4 of my rooms working and they can all be a little isolated if that's what they want. But I can also have maybe I have a string date in Studio 1 and there'll be a rapper coming out of Studio 5 and hear the sound and think, that's amazing. And there'll be that little bit of collaboration because that's what music is all about. It's that conversation.
Right.
And be bringing in things that, oh, that sounds cool, let's use that. Oh, we can use that. Here, come check this out. That's the water cooler, the melting pot that makes new music. It's
one of those things that you can only get in a major studio like this, where you have multiple rooms and multiple engineers and multiple producers and all the different musicians of all genres kind of all together in the hallways and meeting one another and networking and, like you said, collaborating on things.
And you get the, cool, come check this out vibe,
yeah.
Which, this is the happy place for a lot of musicians and most engineers and all of us studio rats.
Right.
This is just home.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit earlier, and you had talked about how one of the big benefits of a studio like this is you walk in, and if you know what you're doing, you can record your drums, you can record your guitar, you can record your vocals, and you're not going to need a lot of processing later because the room sounds so good, the gear is so good, and if you know what you're doing, you can get those sounds.
And you've got it right from the source.
Right.
And if you get everything right and you front load all your work and you get it to where it's good, you get to the mix stage or you get to where you're going to mix it. Fader's up at 0. Oh, this one's going to be -2. And we're done.
Yeah. And the other thing is that with the rooms, as we'll see when we tour some of the rooms, they're big enough spaces and they sound so nice that you can get the whole band playing at one time, or you can get an entire string section or horn section and capture that all at once. And there's something to that, getting that live performance aspect.
There absolutely is. I always like to say the music is a conversation. I want to hear a band play together. I want to hear musicians talk to each other through their sounds. And if the drummer's maybe on the front end of the beat, maybe the guitar player is going to kind of meet him there, or are they going to be, no, pull it back.
Right.
And the bass player is stuck in the middle, like, well, who do I go with?
Right.
And there's going to be that immediate, like just absolute immediate reaction to it, as opposed to tracking it individually, where it can feel like stacked monologues.
Mm-hmm.
They're not talking with each other, they're talking at each other. Because I want to hear that interaction. That interaction is where the magic is.
Right, and that's what you get in a studio like this.
Exactly.
Well, let's take a look in the rooms, because you've got sessions booked all day long.
All day
and
long.
We want to get in there before the bands and musicians show up, so let's get started.
Well, welcome. This is Studio One. This is our largest room, and it's one of the largest recording studios in LA that's not a dedicated scoring stage.
Okay.
And this is exactly as it was designed. The only thing that EastWest changed when that took over was we added a lighting truss.
Okay.
Other than that, acoustically, it's exactly as Bill Putnam designed it, from the asbestos tile floors to the walls. And everything is maintained because, it sounds great in here.
Yeah, why would you change it?
Exactly.
Don't fix what's not broken, right?
We could try repainting the Mona Lisa, but would we make it better?
Right.
No, we'd have different materials.
Sure, right.
So it was designed by Bill Putnam, as I said, and he was Frank Sinatra's personal engineer. So a lot of the things that Frank did on the Reprise label after he left Capitol was done in this room. So Strange as the Night, New York, New York, My Way, That's Life, the Joe Beam album, which is one of my favorite albums. I love that album.
Yeah, right.
The Elvis' '68 comeback special, the theme from The Godfather, a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon themes. More recently, Foo Fighters' Concrete and Gold, strings for Justin Timberlake's 2020 Experience, Michael Bublé To Be Loved, filming for La La Land. There's a lot of it blurs together. I can't keep a
just
fraction
an
of the
endless
history.
list, right? Of
Yeah.
amazing projects. It has it's a unique sound in here with all the angles on the walls and everything. It has a very smooth decay that it's not real long decay for as big of a room as it is.
Exactly.
But it's a very smooth decay, I guess is the best way to describe
Yeah,
it.
it's manageable. It can get a little unruly if you're just doing one thing, but if you cram a bunch of people in here or have a bunch of things to kind of dampen the sound, it just starts coming together. Just
Right.
like congealing, for lack of a better word.
Right. It's so cool, the contrast of coming into the redesigned public spaces, if you will,
Yeah.
to the more private studio spaces. It's really fascinating to see the contrast and that you've kept this vintage. And I think that's so cool, because that's the heart of the studio, is that sound that was created on all those classic recordings and film scores and things.
Exactly. And I like to think of it as a time warp.
Yeah.
Like it's timeless out there,
Right.
and it's just
You walk through the airlock and
it's a historical thing in here.
Yeah, exactly.
But part of the things that made this room what it is there's little cubbies on the walls here. There used to be motors in those, so you could flatten or accordion up the wall to change the way the room would react.
Right.
Bill Putnam got sick of people messing up the sound of his room. So he set it how he liked and ripped the motors back out.
Okay.
Which, his prerogative, it was his room.
Sure.
I may be biased, but I think this is the best room in the world for a big band.
Yeah. Yeah, I could hear that in here, definitely.
And for me, it's also the classic sound of like the strings from the 60s, like the movie scores of that era, where it's just that thick and luscious and a little shimmery.
Right. So the control room for Studio One.
Yes.
It's a beautiful space too.
Yes, it is. So we have a wonderful vintage Neve in here. It's I refer to it as a double wide because it's actually two consoles slapped together, but it's an 80-channel Neve 8078. And
Wow.
It was one of the largest of its kind, and I think it still is one of the largest of its kind. I think somebody did a 96-channel somewhere.
Okay.
Probably for a film score.
Sure.
But this particular desk, I keep getting differing stories, but I know it was commissioned for a Michael Jackson record. It was either Thriller or Bad, and I keep getting
One or the
different
other,
stories.
yeah.
Exactly. Either way,
Right.
it's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, right.
And to think of at the time, that was when they were, slaving two tape machines together. So if you already have 46 tracks you're trying to return, on a normal console being 40 channels, you don't have enough room.
Right.
So you get two consoles, slap them together, and now you have half of it used for just your audio, and now you have the other half to do your reverb returns, your delay returns, your parallel compression, your other mixing tricks. And if you go back to listen to both of those records, there's a lot going on.
Right.
And at the time, they needed all of this real estate to do that. It wasn't an extra track in in Pro Tools.
Right. So does most of the gear, I mean, obviously these racks are permanent, but does most of the
yes.
gear live in here? Do you bring gear in and out?
It does live in here. There's a lot of gear that comes in and out. A lot of it is rentals, or if there's extra requests for things that we need, we're happy to get it, because that's the beautiful thing about being in LA is you can get just about anything you need.
Right.
Especially with a little bit of lead time.
Sure.
But everything in here lives in here because it's a headache to try and schedule this one piece of gear,
Sure.
as well as the 4 rooms and the runners and the assistants, and just leave it put.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's still pretty much acoustically and design-wise the way it was when Bill Putnam designed the room?
Mostly. So when Bill designed this, it was the mono days. So the room was kind of thought with mono, and this was for serious music. This is where they did all the Frank Sinatra stuff. So, and then when the stereo kind of took off, they just doubled the amount of speakers and changed a few things. But for the most part, it's as it was designed.
Right. Yeah, it's a good-sized room.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of more space than it seems like in here because of the space in front of the console. You got the producer area and back with the desk and things. So it's actually a fairly large room with a high ceiling. And again, we have all the angles and all the things that make it so acoustically amazing.
And comfort is everything.
Yeah.
We're in the business of making people feel at ease, feeling at home, feeling comfortable. And that's when they can get the creative juices flowing. Because if they're worrying about, I can't find a place to sit, they start thinking. And thinking is bad.
Right. Right. It's all about catering to that inspiration and the creativity that we need to make the music we
And
make.
capturing the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. So another amazing space.
And once again, another Putnam room. So Studio 2 is our medium-sized room. This is it's a magical room. There's no parallel surfaces.
Right.
And you just kind of want the sound to bounce and bounce away and bounce around, not bounce back. This room was controlled by CBS when it was first opened. So they did a lot of the TV themes in here, like I Dream of Jeannie, MASH, Hawaii Five-0, Addams Family, Partridge Family, Green Acres, Batman, Bonanza. It goes on.
Yeah. Wow.
And in the 70s, people found that they really liked the way drums sounded here, particularly, even on a pair of room mics or a room mic. It sounds huge without that washiness.
Right.
That kind of takes over at times. So this kind of became the rock and roll room, where a lot of the Chili Peppers records were done in here. System of a Down, Toxicity, Tom Petty, Wildflowers, Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time, Muse, Second Law and Absolution. I recommend, if you want to go the deep dive into the history, check the website.
Yeah, right.
I can't keep a fraction of it in my head.
That's amazing. The room actually sounds bigger than it is, but like you said, it's not like a basketball court or an auditorium or something. It's very smooth sounding. I guess maybe that's the Putnam signature is making the room sound bigger than it is, because it's a big room, but it sounds even bigger.
But not uncontrollably big.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you can definitely hear a snare hit in here is going to sound fantastic, or any drum hit, of course.
Yeah.
But I bet guitars and things sound good in here too.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Well, obviously they do.
yeah.
We've heard them on countless records. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have heard this room. I mean, I promise you, anybody who's out there, watching this right now, has heard this building.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So the control room for Studio 2, so cool in here.
It's just it feels good.
Yeah.
It just feels comfortable. And we have a wonderful Neve 8028 in here. This one was an RCA broadcast desk, and that's kind of the way it's configured the way it is. And it was put in here, I believe, when Ocean Way took over.
Okay.
In the mid 80s. And it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people would push over their own mother to get a pair of 1073s.
Let alone a desk full.
And here I'm spoiled. I've got 40 of them.
Wow.
And trust me, I'm well aware of the fact that I'm spoiled. But I like toys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, not just the console, but of course
but
all
the other toys as well.
all the other toys. Yeah.
With this being our rock and roll room, we filled the rack with things that would naturally be kind of the workhorse gear that you would need for a rock and roll tracking date or a rock and roll mixing date. A lot of what you need for that is just a couple of compressors and a few EQs and a wonderful Fairchild.
Yeah, always got to have a Fairchild.
Yeah.
Built into the wall, no less.
Exactly.
I think that's the first time I've seen that. Seen a Fairchild in the wall. That's pretty cool.
We did that. So we used to have the Lynxes and time code generators there for when come bringing tape machines in.
Right.
That doesn't happen often anymore. So we decided to pull those out, put that piece there because it lives here.
Great seat.
And we'll pull the Lynxes and the time code stuff in when we need to.
Sure. Well, quite an array of LA2As, 1176s, Pultecs, 480L, distressors. Boy, you got all the classics and all the cool stuff.
Well, and a lot of the Yuri and Universal Audio stuff was designed by Bill Putnam.
Of course.
Who, once again, designed this building. And most of the original designs and models were manufactured in this building as well. So I like to joke that, you know, some of the pieces of gear have gone around the world and come home.
Right. So it looks like we're doing some guitar sessions in Studio 3.
Yep, doing some overdubs. They were in Studio 2 doing the main tracks, and they moved over here.
Okay. Crazy looking room that sounds fantastic.
Sounds fantastic. This particular room is probably our most infamous room. It was the center of the Laurel Canyon scene in the 60s.
Okay.
So Mamas and Papas did Monday Monday in California Dreamin', Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, Scott McKenzie, San Francisco, Blondie, Heart of Glass, Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, Frank Ocean, I think, did most of Channel Orange in here. So it's a very versatile room.
Right.
And the wonderful thing about this room is it's very much embrace the bleed. You get people here and you have to know how to engineer a little bit better because you're gonna get drum bleed into the piano and you're gonna get piano into the guitar mic and you're gonna get everything into the vocals. So you need to not over mic it, but mic it in a way that you get everything you need and, you know, be smart about it.
Right.
So, and this room has probably been the one that's been most attempted to be copied.
Yeah.
And nothing ever quite sounds the same.
Right. Oh, it's amazing. Once again, Bill Putnam, man, what a genius.
Yeah, he was a smart one, and just, you know, the cool aesthetic design of the wall back there as well.
Right. So a little different style control room here. Still got all the angles, but you got a cloud. Different style desk as well.
Very different desk. This is a Trident A range, and it's one of 13 that was built, and 6 that are still together as a whole desk. I love it. She can be a little finicky if you try and treat it like another desk. It's a whole different beast. But when you kind of learn it, and it's not a steep learning curve, but when you learn it, it sounds so sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's, well, once again, we've heard it how many times?
A lot. I think this particular desk, part of Queen's Night at the Opera, Bowie Station to Station, a couple of Elton John records, Cars, Candy-O. And the thing that in particular that I love about this desk is the EQs are not surgical. They are very wide Q and a bit of a tone sledgehammer. So if you are trying to EQ it and you can't get it, do what you should have done in the first place and move the mic.
Right.
Or change the mic. And do all of the right things out there before you start twiddling or pushing the faders, you know, on the EQ in here.
Yeah, a little different approach than many people take these days, but that's the art of it, right?
That is.
Is capturing it at the source so that it sounds great.
If you capture it right, you don't have to work as hard on the back end.
Right.
Just front load your work.
Right. There you go. There you go. And once again, of course, an incredible array of toys.
And with this being a much more of a kind of a more intimate room, there's a few that the toys are decked out in the way that facilitates the most of the work that's in here.
Right, right. Wow. Just the vibe in these rooms is so fantastic.
Thank you.
I mean, you imagine what all's been recorded in the art and the music that's come out of these spaces. It's just overwhelming.
And I like to think about what will be recorded here as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just, I mean, there's 60 years of history in this building, and God willing and the river don't rise, there'll be 60 more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it feels like we've stepped into the modern era.
We have. This is our newest room. This is the last one we brought back online as EastWest. In April of 2014 is when we reopened it.
Okay.
This one being our mix room. It's also brought in a lot more of the pop and hip hop clients because we have 18-inch subs and Augsburger mains. So it's got some serious boom to it.
Right.
You can hear it all the way down the hall if it's cranked.
Yeah.
So wonderful SSLG Plus. And toys.
Incredible.
It's the idea with, you know, we decked it out so that you can do a mix in here, when the idea being you capture it in one of the iconic rooms, tracking rooms, get everything you need. You come over here, you just bring your tapes or hard drives across the hall, and you do here.
Right.
And then a rack of 31105s if you need to do a vocal punch or fix a guitar thing.
So you've got a space where you can do like an overdub.
Exactly.
Right. Nice.
Echo chamber. So,
Echo chamber.
So I know Bill Putnam was one of the fathers of reverb, and the idea behind it of, I have this signal, I'm going to take a split of this signal, and I'm going to send it to a speaker over there in a whole different room, and I'm going to put a mic in there to capture that room so I can blend in a different room tone to this thing that I'm recording now. Coming up with that is just, I mean, brilliant. We take it for granted now because in terms of space, you needed to have a whole nother room with a speaker and a microphone to be able to do that. Well, here we have a speaker and 2 microphones in a very reflective room in a design that we originally came up with.
Yeah.
And this was, instead of being able to manipulate your plug-in and your reverb time and your decay and all of that stuff, this is analog reverb. It's chaos.
Yeah.
And it sounds natural.
There's even curves to the wall in here, though. There's a shape to them, isn't there?
Exactly.
Again, it kind of smooths it out, so it isn't just a rattle. It actually is a reverb, even in this space. That is so cool. So can you access this from all the rooms?
From all of the rooms.
Okay. So there's a tie line that runs from each one into the space.
And the way they used to manipulate and change it then was actually come up and move the mic or move the speaker.
Ah, yeah.
So if you wanted a little bit more, quick bounce, you move the speaker closer to the wall.
Right.
Or maybe you point the mics in different ways to get, to shape your sound a little bit.
Right. So is the 57 the ideal echo chamber mic?
It's just good. It
works, right?
The 57 is an absolute workforce of a microphone.
It's going to work no matter what, right?
And you don't really want a lot of top end in reverb because then it starts getting painful.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know if you can hear the sound of this room in our labs, but there's a lot of bounce.
There's a lot of bounce. It's the opposite of an anechoic chamber.
Exactly.
Just everything is in here. This is so cool. 6 EMT plates.
6 EMT plates, all accessible by all of our rooms.
Wow.
Just with a patch point. And the assistants will all come out here and then be able to adjust the length of decay on whichever unit they're plugged into.
Actually, there's 7 here.
7 of them.
Oh,
6 of them are hooked up.
Okay.
And we have a spare. When one goes down, we can move it over quickly.
Oh my gosh. That's got to be like the most anywhere, isn't it?
It's
7 in one place?
I know Capitol has a few, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they sound amazing, and Lawrence, our chief engineer, does a phenomenal job of keeping not just these, but the entire building maintained. And that's
right.
How many channels of audio? It's a lot.
Yeah, that is a monumental job.
It is a monumental job.
So cool.
So we have our engine room. I can show you real quick as well. Tape machine storage, extra speakers.
Right.
This is the truly kind of where a lot of the brains and guts are. And as I was saying, each studio has access to all of the plates and chambers just from right here. So it's, sometimes a bit of a scheduling nightmare because you get people fighting over, no, I have to have that chamber, I have to have that chamber. Well, no, it's my chamber. No, it's my chamber.
Can you use them simultaneously? Is there bleed between them?
You can use them simultaneously.
Wouldn't think there would be, would there? With just a plate in there?
Yeah. Huh. But, a lot of times it's just the scheduling because, we have a project in for 3 weeks. That means that's their chamber.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Right.
But yeah, that's, the brains of the whole operation.
That is amazing. So the heart and soul.
And the brains of the whole operation.
The brains of the operation is really the maintenance and the tech area.
So our chief engineer, Lawrence Mauchos, does a phenomenal job of keeping everything maintained and working. And he's severely overworked. And currently enjoying some much needed time off.
Awesome.
Here, where we keep all our mic locker with all the mics carefully organized, carefully maintained, and carefully packed away because a lot of them are irreplaceable.
Wow. You have 5 C12s,
4 C12As.
Wow. On and on and on and on.
A matched pair of a stereo matched pair of M50s.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of the mics we can't get parts for. We can't really, maintenance on them is difficult. So we treat them with the reverence they deserve.
Amazing. So all this is available in any of the studios?
Yes.
Is it part of when you book a room?
When you book a room, you get full access to the mic locker. The only time that it's ever an issue is if, I need 367s and only got 2 available. And you're gonna barter with the other assistant and talk with the other rooms to see, are you guys done with that yet? Can we maybe swap, and a lot of that. But the wonderful thing about all the training and the teaching we've done with our staff here is they know how all of the mics sound. They know good substitutions. Say, oh, you're looking for a 67. Maybe try the Mojave 300. It's very close. It's a little bit brighter because it's newer, but it's very similar. And I've got a pair of them. Maybe try, maybe we want to try a 251.
Sure.
Or try a C12 on their vocal, or just be part of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Man, this is amazing.
Yeah. And so he keeps a very, very tidy workspace because it's the only way to keep the chaos from taking over.
Right. Keith, thanks so much for the time today and the incredible tour, both behind the scenes and into the historic rooms and these public spaces. I mean, just a beautiful studio.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah.
I want people to know that we're here and we're here to work.
Right.
We're here to do music for both from yesterday and tomorrow, and we've had 60 years of history, and I want at least 60 more.
Absolutely. Well, I can't help but walk out of here inspired to get to work on some music, so thank you for that as well.
Absolutely do, and hopefully it inspires some other people as well.
Wonderful.
And feel free to call us.
Yeah, great. Thanks again. We appreciate
man.
it.
It's my pleasure.
Great to see you. And thank you for joining me here at EastWest Studios in Hollywood, California. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.